Hey guys, we are back again with Kickin Cancer Cares, and our sponsor for the second half is Venti's Cafe. Absolutely amazing food. With the New Year's passing and now we are into 2026. If you are looking to eat better, healthier, maybe looking at some vegetarian or vegan options, Venti's has amazing menu full of all of that stuff. So healthy, not healthy, wholesome, or not wholesome. They're your go-to. And I still have not gotten there to try the artichoke dip. That is on my list. But they have an amazing
But the sweet potato fries still are your favorites.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Grilled cheese sandwich and tomato soup is still my kid's favorite. Their sweet potato fries with, it's got like a coconut flake and honey drizzle on it. Oh my gosh, it's to die for. And then their jackfruit nacho.
Yeah. Those are your standbys.
Insanely good with their vegan cheese. Do not do anything vegan or vegetarian, but that Venti's is a different breed of that type of food. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Yes.
Well, so we're having a great conversation with Chrystal Hart-Meeker about Reiki and so much more than just what people think about Reiki.
Yeah.
I'd love to get into some of the actual applications that you've been able to do with Reiki.
Yeah.
So one of that you had mentioned was sound baths.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate a little bit on sound baths?
Yeah. So I finish all of my Reiki sessions with sound. So many practitioners use all different instruments. My main ones are the crystal sound bowls. And I love the way that the frequencies flow through the room. It's like with the Reiki, I'm, kind of loosening up the energy in the body, and then the sound bowls come in and just really move whatever is left to move. Because as I was saying, when the frequencies hit water, it amplifies. And so because we are mostly water,
right,
it moves through the body. And so oftentimes my clients will say that they literally felt like they were levitating after, because they're so relaxed after the Reiki.
So where do you hold these sessions at?
So I have a home studio that I do. I do also do in the summertime sound baths floating in a pool.
Okay.
So where I'll just do sound. So those are really magical experiences, but we're in Oregon, so that's seasonal. I do also do small group sessions in the, every month I'll do just a small group where I'll do sound with a little bit of Reiki too. Reiki is always, you can always call in the energy of Reiki. So I always, as a Reiki practitioner, always have that energy moving.
Right.
And then, kind of play the sound and just have that amplify the energies.
Okay.
Nice.
Awesome.
Nice. Well, I know that I've often said that, everything has a frequency, light has a frequency, sound has a frequency, thought has a frequency. And it just makes sense that sound would travel faster on water because it amplifies it. And so to do a sound bath with the Reiki that's going on in there, it's just awesome.
Yeah, it's incredible. And the interesting thing about it too, that I wasn't fully expecting during those sound baths, and Ashley experienced it, so she can probably chime in too, with the ones that are on the water, they are wearing an eye mask. And when we start, it's actually a little bit light outside because it's summertime, so it's light. And then when they take their eye masks off, it's dark. So that's very cool in itself. But in wearing the eye mask, their senses are so heightened. So their sense of smell, everything that they can hear.
You think it's because one sense is gone, so the rest of them make up for it?
Yes. Yeah. And so it's really cool. People actually came up to me afterwards, and I wasn't expecting it. They were like, what aromatherapy were you using? And I was like, it's just the flowers, But as they were moving around, because they were also moving a little bit in the pool, they were just floating gently. And so they would move all around. And so they would smell different things and experience things differently. So it was really neat.
It's amazing how much those other senses pick up when the ones go away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember years ago, the company I was at, they decided to do this team building thing with all the managers. And so we were all given blindfolds.
Yeah.
And put in a room. And my hearing went up a lot. I could hear somebody walked past me, and I knew it was them because of the squeak of their shoes.
Yeah.
Oh, funny.
And they're like, how'd you know it was me? Because that sense is gone. The other ones make up for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
So do you have some interesting, and I think Ashley could chime in too, an interesting story of somebody going through this experience that maybe didn't believe it was going to work with them, and it did?
Yeah. So it's interesting because with Reiki, the only way to receive Reiki or not to receive it is to be closed off. Like you at least have to be open. Me as a practitioner, here's another thing that we have to do is we have to remove ourselves, our own egos out of the session and know that I'm not in control of the experience that my client has. Ultimately, they are. And if they're not open to receiving, they won't receive. I can set the intention that they will, but you have to be open. You have to be an open participant in receiving. So most people at least believe a little bit. I will say probably my husband was the most skeptical. My husband has seen my whole journey. So, I mean, there's been times I think he was like, what is my wife doing? But he stuck it out. And I think at first, like I would tell him, clients had this experience or that experience, still keeping confidentiality, but just telling him what a client might have experienced. Right. He's like, whatever. But, I have a home studio. So sometimes he would be home and my clients would walk through and they'd be like, oh, how was your session? And they would tell him. And so he's starting to listen and hear. And he's like,
wait a minute.
And he's like, okay. It wasn't just me saying it. So
right.
He's probably my biggest skeptic. But I think
your biggest conversion.
Yeah, and conversion, yes, because now he's like, okay, I see what she's doing, I get it, and he's very proud. But for the most part, I think people at least come in knowing they're usually getting a referral from somebody else, or they know me, and I am really, really good, I think, at creating safety. And that's really the most important thing for me is when I'm with clients to create a safe space. And so I always start out just speaking to them, finding out what's going on in their lives, how, what has brought them into session. Do they have an intention or something that I can hold with them, etc. And so I really start the process by grounding them and helping them to feel really, really safe with me in the hopes that they will be more willing to open up, and just to be open to receiving.
Well, if they're not grounded to start with, and I guess when I see where someone who's a skeptic is going to be hard to crack through.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and it's funny you say your husband was probably one of the biggest skeptics early on.
Yeah, he was.
So is he a conversion now? Is he a believer in what's going on?
Absolutely. Yeah, he has. I mean, from what he's seen and heard, just people, because we're pretty well known and people talk to him, and so he can't not believe it. It's not just me saying it. And so he's like, okay,
you're the real deal.
Yeah.
Babe.
Yeah. He's like, you're doing good things. You're doing good work. But yeah, I mean, my hope is I just feel like when you're working in the energy work, people are drawn to you. And so it's like people that are meant for you are going to find you. And I guess for me, I'm not that worried about converting people.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I want people to come in and be open to receiving, because again, like I don't want to be like, it's my, I am, even though it's not taking my energy, I'm still putting energy into that session. I prep a half an hour before and, decompress and ground a half an hour after. And so it takes, I'm putting
You're putting a full hour into the session beyond the session.
Yeah. And so it's like, I'm putting in, and so I don't want to go in and be battling, with this person's belief systems or any of that. But if they're curious, I know they'll be more willing to open up. So as long as they have that curiosity and they've found me, they've booked the session, more than likely they're going to be, be open to receiving.
My saying is we're a vibe or it's a vibe.
Yes.
It's a vibe.
We're alive or survived. So actually, what was your experience like when you went through the...
I went there, like, I already knew what was going to go on, but I had never experienced it. Okay. But in the midst of it, it really is out of body.
Because you did a sound bath.
Yeah, with the pool and floating around and heightened senses. And by the time I was done, and then you take your mask off, you're looking at a sky full of stars. Like, it was refreshing. It was like a reset. And at the time that I had it done, I was kind of closing old paths in my life that needed to be cut off. And so it was definitely a healing moment for myself. I have goosebumps now. I can't wait to do another one.
Well, and even though the water is so magical, you can get that experience even indoors. So being in Oregon, we can't, obviously I can't, have an outdoor pool all the time. I wish. I added it to my list, but I don't think my husband's going to pull through.
Cool.
Outdoor pool covered.
Covered, all the things. But, you can still experience it. It's really about what the sound is doing. I mean, yes, that is very magical and very special. beneficial, but you can get that, at an indoor sound bath too. It's just a little bit different, but it's the relaxation that we're really after. And again, it's about moving the energy in the body. It's all the things that we store. It's all the stories that we store. And that's why in Reiki and sound in particular, both of those, people will start crying and not even know why they're crying.
I did after I left.
Yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah.
After I left.
So breakdown?
Yeah. And I tell people, I'm like, it's better out than in, because it's like anytime you're stuffing your emotions, you're just storing that in the body. And it's like, these are ways that we can move it out of the body.
You can't hide from it.
You can't hide from it. It's coming. I always tell people when I receive Reiki, because I still receive Reiki, I'll usually cry just because it's so beautiful. Like tears will fall and I'm just like, oh, this is so good. And sometimes I'm crying, probably because it's moving different traumas that I'm holding in my body.
Right.
But the beautiful thing is you don't have to know. It's just moving and shifting.
Yeah.
You don't have to know why.
Right. You just feel it.
You just feel it. Yeah. And you just feel better and you show up better. You show up differently. It's like I was just telling you about my conversation with my mom. I'm able to have these conversations with my mom and I show up differently.
Yeah.
She didn't change. I did. And the way that I show up changed just because of the healing that I've received.
So you had mentioned earlier that you've had some people with cancer that this has actually been beneficial for them.
Yeah.
How did that work for them?
Yeah. So I love working with cancer patients so much because they're going through so much. And again, Reiki is so...
Talk about trauma at an emotional level, at a physical level, all the levels that go with the trauma.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just so much and so much in the physical body, mental, emotional, just everything. So to be able to hold the space for people who are going through cancer and cancer treatments is probably one of my favorite things to do because again, they can truly surrender. It's that place where they can feel safe. They can sleep. Sometimes they have a hard time sleeping with everything they're going on. Most times people fall asleep just laying on my massage table. They're just out and I'm just working on them. And there's nothing that I love more than just pouring back into them. I mean, I want to fill them up so much. And so, it's just one of those supportive things and it gives them that space where they can fully surrender and just receive, get filled back up again and moving. I believe that we can heal, anything, that miracles can happen as long as you're willing to be open and receiving. I think that we as humans are just far more powerful than we give ourselves credit for. And so when we open up to these spaces and allow, and be willing to receive a miracle.
Have you seen a few of those?
I've seen many, several miracles. And so I will say that, just be open. I'm never one to say, don't go to the doctor, don't do this, but look at what else is out there. Yeah. See what else is possible.
Well, I think that's the key is that we have been conditioned for over 70 years that the medical field is where you go.
Yeah.
I think it was somewhere in the 50s that they really began to indoctrinate the public with the medical field. And some people don't even know that these modalities are even available. Now, if someone breaks their leg, go to a doctor and get the leg set. But there are other ways to deal with other conditions than just medication.
Yeah.
And that's what we're conditioned to do is the medication.
100%. Well, and did you notice too, I noticed it after COVID because people could not get in to see the doctors quickly. And so small procedures and small surgeries were just put to the back burner because they couldn't see people. And so people that had broken bones, broken limbs and everything, where they would normally do surgeries, they were no longer doing surgeries. They were just setting them in casts and they were healing on their own. And so I think that it was interesting for even doctors, they stopped doing surgeries on things that they were doing surgeries on before. They're like, oh, maybe we don't need this surgery. We'll just let the body, heal itself. So I believe all is possible. And one of the things that we didn't talk about is I also do QHHT, which is quantum healing hypnosis technique. And in that technique, it actually, you do ask for physical healing of the body. So as long as a person is willing and they want the healing and they believe that the healing can occur, miracles can most definitely happen. It's incredible. Yeah.
There are so many forgotten things from our timeline of being just humans that a lot of it has been shut out because it's taboo or oh, that's not real, because you just don't see it. Like these things, they are real. They do exist. There is scientific things that back them through history, but now it's more prevalent since 21. A lot of people have woken up and they're not asleep anymore, and they're like, oh, maybe these vibrations and frequencies and things, they're onto something. And you can see it. You can see it. There's so many people out there practicing that.
100%. Well, and even QHHT has been around a long time, you know.
I'm excited.
It has been around so long, and actually the person, so they're hypnotized, the client is hypnotized, and they basically heal themselves.
Oh, wow.
I just ask for it. And I record it. And so they listen to it after the session. And the more they have the belief, but it's interesting in working with people, I'll talk to them about the things that they need healed. And when you ask them, are you willing to release that and let that go? You would be appalled to see how many people stop and they have to think about it.
Because I think that's because that has become the new normal.
It's
scary,
that's what they know.
Thought of really like fully letting go, and that's all traumas from being so young that you had no control over it. So you're like, do I really want to open up to that? As I'm like, me.
Take everything from me. I just want to be healed.
I'm like, you should see me in a QHHT section. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, what else is happening? Tell me more. You know, I believe, so when you ask me about miracles, I see miracles all the time. I believe anything and everything is possible. Like, you could not tell me something that would shock me, or, you know, that I would go, oh, that's not possible. I believe that we are so powerful and powerful beyond measure. And, you know, that's really what I want to remind people is I'm not like this gifted person.
Right.
I've just tapped into it. We all I'm just the guide to remind you that you're the healer. Like, you are your own healer.
Yes.
And I'm just the guide to help you to remember that and to see that. And that's really what I want to do for people.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And I can think of many examples where people may call it faith, you know, with whatever religious beliefs they have. But if you believe that it can happen, that's half the battle right there.
Absolutely.
And then have somebody guide you through the process and then tap into that energy that's outside.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, even with broken bones, there was cases where those were beginning to heal themselves.
Yeah.
The body was designed to heal itself.
Yeah.
Yes.
We've just brought other elements into it that messes that whole process up.
100%. Well, and I don't believe that we're supposed to be sick either. You know what I mean? And so it's like, we've been made to be sick. And so it's like just remembering that we're powerful and having that belief.
Yes.
Having that belief is so powerful. If we can create it, we can heal it too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amen.
I think we're sicker now than we were 100 years ago.
Agreed.
And a lot of that's created to keep a industry and work.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
So do you have one, without divulging names, do you have one person in mind that comes to you the quickest as far as a success story?
I've just had so many. I mean, they're all different in different ways. But yeah, I mean, I've seen people
Sounds like your husband might be one of the cases.
Well, there's more work to be done there. No, I'm just kidding. I love my husband. I mean, I think it's that's a hard relation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when you're husband and wife, you know, he's a business coach too. And he's like, I'd like to coach you in your business. And I'm like, it's probably not going to work out very well. So I think the same thing for me to like going into.
Hard to coach your own family sometimes.
Yeah. Or like doing inner child healing on him. I'm like, I know that child. I've seen him before because you know that's it.
I know you're lying.
I'm like, that's that boy that was throwing a tantrum in the kitchen the other day. But no, many. I mean, just so many things. I mean, I'll have people that it's just simple things that seem simple, right? But they'll come in and they'll have like chronic neck and shoulders. I mean, especially women, like that's where we carry everything. And I'll ask for healing in those situations, and they'll get up off the table and they're like, oh, that's gone, you know. And it can be something that's bothered them for so long. I mean, there's a lot of medical claims that we're just not allowed to make.
Sure.
And so, but there's just, I mean, I see it all the time with Reiki. I mean, similarly, I mean, it can help with pain. I mean, it can help heal. It can heal a lot of things. It's just being open to receiving it. And if you're open to receiving it, things can happen. I mean, I've heard of things where there were tumors present and then they were not, you know?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that can happen.
Well, and I know that different parts of your body carry different kinds of stress. And my wife's been going through this phase where her right shoulder hurts a lot.
Yeah.
And now the elbow that goes with it, and she works for 911. So she does a lot of stress.
Yeah, she does.
And I'm like, you've got to find a way to release that stress. You're holding that stress inside your body,
Yes.
Can't hide from it.
I know.
No.
Can't hide from
And see, that's the thing with those industries that people are doing work like that. Like, I'm like, oh, they should be coming in to see me like twice a month.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, even just laying on the Reiki table and just receiving Reiki. I mean, that is just such high stress.
Very.
And they're taking on so much. Like,
when the
it
phone
has to be
call comes in,
Yeah,
you're taking all the
first-
stress all through the phone.
You're the first voice.
That first voice, that first person that's here, receiving that trauma on the other end. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I wish there was just more Reiki and so many of the. Like, if we were all just Reiki attuned, we could be giving ourselves Reiki. The world would just be a different place.
Well, and that's an industry that I firmly believe until that industry, the 911 industry, stops and looks at what's happening to the people that work in that industry.
Yeah.
Like, why do you have people that are so sick as they've done this for years and years?
Yeah.
And that's,
Yes.
you have not developed a method to help your employees work through the trauma that they have to listen to on the phone.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And even, there's nonprofits and, that are dealing with trauma, and all these places have high turnover rates. And it's like, well, no wonder. I mean, they're taking that home to their families, and they can only do that for so long. So it's like, how can you take better care of them so that they can stay in the position and do the important work that they're doing for longer?
Oh, yeah, I think with like the Union Gospel Mission that has all the homeless people that come into it, or places like that have so many people in our society who need their help.
Yeah.
They need help, but they have to deal with the trauma that goes with the help that's coming in.
100%. Yeah.
Well, it's awesome what you're doing.
Yes,
Thank you.
super awesome.
How are we doing on time? We've got a few more minutes here. The one last question I wanted to ask with you is, what is something that some of the listeners could do to help, that they could Reiki themselves if they haven't been trained?
Yeah.
But what could we do to ourselves to help each other?
I think one of the most important things that people could do every single day is some form of a meditation practice. And that doesn't have to be, sitting, properly, with your legs crossed.
The images that everyone's
Yeah,
seeing
it
on TV.
doesn't have to be that, right? It's just that space, like coming home here every single day. The first place to connect is right here. So I'm like, get in your body. When we're not in our physical bodies, we're living outside of our bodies. And so from that moment, we're living in fight or flight. We aren't present for our kids and present for everything. So it's like, find the thing that is going to put you back in your body. And I think a simple meditation practice would do that. Maybe start at 2 minutes, then go to 3 minutes, then move to 5 minutes, and then maybe up to 10. And that can be walking, even out in nature. There can be walking meditations, like however it is for you. And it doesn't have to be how it is for everybody else.
Right.
It's whatever you're going to do, and you're going to do consistently, but dropping in and being here first, checking in with you, and even connecting to your heart. You know how hard it is for people to like touch and connect with their heart, and just asking, like, how are you? Your heart will tell you a lot of information. There are people that, first they just sit there and they, and ask, how are you? And they'll just start crying, and it's like, well, there you go. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like, beautiful. Like, let that out. Like, it's okay to let that emotion go, whatever that is. But maybe you're just happy. Maybe you're feeling joy, but we don't take that moment to go, I'm just really great. I'm really grateful today, actually.
Yeah.
People
I love my
wanted
life.
to look you up or connect with you. How would they go about doing that?
We all had the exact same question.
Yeah. My website, my name is spelled difficult, but chrystal-heart.com is probably the best way. I'm on all of the, social medias as well. And I answer everybody. Like, this is my passion. I love this work. I want healing for the world. I mean, that is literally what I want. And so I love to talk to people, even just starting their journeys. Like, it's just something I'm so passionate about.
You are, because I've seen from listening to your story and how you healed yourself and worked on yourself first. I think you saw how beneficial it was, that you just wanted to outpour it to everybody else. And that's really cool.
Well, you have to start with you.
You do.
And then if you feel so impressed to
Mhm.
pass it on to somebody else.
Yeah.
And if you can't heal yourself, you're not going to help anyone
Yes.
else out.
Yeah.
So
That's
thank
right.
you so much
Yeah.
for coming in.
Thank you guys
It
for
was awesome
having
to
me.
hear
Yeah.
your story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Thank
appreciate
you.
that so
Yes.
much.
Thank you guys.
And huge shout out to Venti's Cafe. Like I said, if you guys are, did you have something else? Sorry.
No, just take your time. Just take your time.
If you are looking for some yummy, delicious food but want to eat healthy, they are your go-to. They've got so many different things. They're lentil mushroom patty versus a beef patty, but you can also get the beef patty if you do mushroom lentil patties are not your thing. But
you might try that lentil beef
yeah, I,
patty.
was gonna say, I encourage you to give it a try. I was a little hesitant of it, and I love mushrooms, but I'm not sure where I stand with lentils.
Yeah.
But it was delicious. You could hardly even tell. It was so good, and like the spicy jackfruit, meat protein. I guess
You have been surprised.
not
by-
a meat protein, but a vegetable protein,
Yeah,
a fruit protein. I guess
vegetable protein.
it is so stinking good. And yes, I would never try those things in a million years if he hadn't had me try it. And it was like, wow, it's one of my favorites now. So go check out Venti's Cafe and start eating good. All right, we'll be back next week
As the movement continues.